Welcome to another episode of Hobbies My Wife Hates. Today we are going to paint the Shadows of Brimstone ancient horrors, which are described as masses of writhing tentacles and ancient hate. You can also use this paint scheme to paint your individual tentacles. So this video is a 2-for-1. So sit back and get ready to watch paint dry. I'll see you at the end of the video. Now before we can paint the tentacle, we've got to paint the rocks. So we're going to begin with some oak brown. And we're going to paint these rocks. We want them to look like our mine tiles. And we just sit here and let that dry. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is use some strong tone and wash these rocks. All right, and we'll just sit there and let that dry. Now that that's dry, we'll do a light dry brush with leather brown again. And let that dry. Followed by a dry brush of desert yellow. Let that dry. Then last but not least, we're going to take some ancient stone and do a dry brush. And it just brings out the there. Trying to get the little edges. And with that, the rocks are done. Now, because we got a little bit of the paint on our tentacles, I'm just going to do a touch-up. And here we're just gonna I see we forgot a rock. The next thing we have to do is we're going to paint the outside of the tentacle. And with that, we're going to use Terrian Navy, a speed paint. And we're going to paint it, making sure we don't get it on this section here. We're going to paint half the body, and then we'll flip it over and do the other half. All right. We got the inside of that tentacle done. We're going to let it dry, and we'll be back. One of the nice things about speed paint, it really does the shadowing for you and gets in the cracks. You don't really need a wash, and this won't need a dry brush. And we're going to paint the other side, and we're going to use Runic Gray, another speed paint. And we're just going to get the inside where the suction cups are. You just got to get the inside line here. And we're going to let that dry. And last, we're going to do a dry brush of the suction cups with the Gorgon hide. Using a very small, a size 3 dry brush from a company called Artify. I found these dry brushes on Amazon. They look like little makeup brushes. And they work perfectly. And with that, this tentacle is done. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to base the tentacles. Now I already done one, and I want it to look like this is ancient horror. I want this tentacle to be on either side of these tracks. These are going to represent mine cart tracks. We got to figure out what way to best position them. And there, maybe one here. With these tracks going right between them. We're going to leave the track there while we glue it down. And this one here. You're wondering where I got these tracks? Store that carries train supplies. These are N-scale train tracks. They'll look great. And they'll slide right through. So we'll let that dry. And we'll put some Army Painter battlefields. And then we'll use some accelerator to get it going. Okay, we're back. We've got our our battlefield ballast, sand, whatever you want to call it, on it. Marmy painter as well. And we're going to give this a good layer of oak brown. And we're going to paint the same color as the rocks. And let it dry. Dry brush of leather brown. Not really a dry brush, we're going to call it a fast wet brush. Just quick. It's not completely dry. It doesn't matter if you get a little on the rocks, because you can always touch up the rocks. All right, let that dry a little bit. And we're going to take our desert yellow. Dry brush of the ancient stone. Next, we're going to do the side trim with some matte black. Okay, now we could let that be it, but I want to make it look a little better. So we're going to decorate it with those tracks. And we will glue it to the base. And that looks like the tentacles are popping out right by the mine tracks. And I think we're going to call that one done. There we have it, the Shadows of Brimstone Ancient Horrors, painted and ready to play. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did.